Hi Scorpio, welcome to your first part of January 2017 General Tarot Reading. It's Raina here now. I am going to do the typical spread that I usually do. And I'm also going to pick a card from my new Oracle deck, Keepers of the Light. I'm, having fun with these cards. And before I begin, I just wanted to say something because this has come up and I feel like it's really important for me to say this. I realize that the type of readings that I'm doing on YouTube sometimes can seem to really mirror people's lives. And so sometimes they get personal readings. And I'm sure it may be a little bit confusing because in my personal readings, I'm about self-empowerment. And so I think it's important to kind of stress, like even for people who are watching this and are just, watching a video, to realize that I'm not implying that I'm, predicting what your future is as if you're a passive observer in your own life. And that's something that I really have to say, and I'm going to say it in the near future with all my videos, because I never want to give that impression. And so even if some of these cards seem like they totally match up with what's going on in your life, you still have to take inspired action. You really do. Sometimes, your action is to be passive if you've been trying to control things. So I will grant you that. But to believe that you're a victim of fate, I think is not good. So I do apologize if, I'm giving out a mixed message in that sense, because the cards are meant, and especially the tarot, because it's so symbolic, it's meant to be kind of maybe like synchronicity in that it mirrors what's happening and it shows you that you need to focus on this, but not that it's providing the direction instead of you using your own intuition and logic to solve your problems. Logic is very important because our emotions are illogical. And sometimes, you need to follow your instincts, but sometimes you need to just use plain old-fashioned common sense to deal with your problems. And that is where it gets a little bit murky here, because I'm, kind of pulling these cards and saying, okay, now this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And so I just wanted to clear that up. And this is for the first half of the month, and it's a general reading, so it means that, it can focus on any area of your life. Sometimes some areas are much more, the themes are much more towards one area than another. Like, for instance, this reading in a way. This reading is seeming to be more of a relationship type of a reading, but not necessarily. Okay, so let me, and I'm going to pull the Oracle card too so we can see the consistency or the theme, see if it kind of follows through on that. This is the back of the card, by the way. I pulled this upside down, but these are Oracle cards, so that's not like the tarot. They're just, I just wasn't paying attention when I held the deck in my hands. That's Hilarion and it's Divine Healing, okay? Okay, so the other thing too, this is intended for the first half of the month. And also, some people ask, is this for Scorpio rising too? I never say that. I always say, of course, I could probably if I said the moon and the rising sign, I could triple my viewership, right? So maybe I'm not being too bright about this, but I feel like it's dividing the astrological signs because they all contain specific, traits and energetic patterns. And it's a way of dividing the readings. But people confuse astrological transits with tarot readings, and that's a big mistake, because the astrology, it's more scientific. It's more based on actual dates and influences during that time period, for with the planets traveling in your different houses. But even with the astrology, that's going to be general, because not everyone has the same. Even if you're a Scorpio, you don't have the same degree necessarily as somebody else, the same year. So all of the other information is going to be different. We do these readings on YouTube to demonstrate how we do readings in private. Maybe some people just do it as a hobby, but because I'm doing this also as a business, it's to show you how I work in a general sort of way. So we can't get too caught up in it and take it too literally. But anyway, the overall theme is the Three of Swords. So this is a card, and you can probably even tell without knowing what it means that this is a card of feeling heartbroken, a sense of rejection. When you have swords, there can be cutting words that led to this. Maybe it's on the verbal level, but it is like piercing your heart. So it's something that really is very hurtful, and feeling rejection, feeling some, I think even betrayal would be a perfect example of that. It's the number 3, so there can be a love triangle sometimes. In business situations, it could be feeling that you were, I was going to say sold a false bill of goods, because I got the moon card next to it, the sense of deception. And maybe from a boss figure, because this is like an owner of a business. So maybe, you were promised something. The classic example would be, you were, what's that term when something over with a promotion, like looked over, passed over for a promotion type of a thing. And feeling like you were had because of it, because you were promised something from the higher up and you didn't get it. And the thing about this is that there is a sense of you're not being given the true story, or people are withholding facts about this for whatever reason, maybe to make themselves look better. In personal relationships, this can involve somebody who is a Cancer. Now, the person who broke your heart might have been an earth sign. So it could have been a Taurus or a Capricorn or a Virgo individual. Taurus is your opposite sign. So that's always, one of those signs that you may tend to have relationships with on a regular basis. But some kind of situation involving a sense of deception and not really knowing what the truth is. Now, sometimes when I look at that higher message, it really kind of gives us more of a feel for it beyond your own reaction. And this is the High Priestess. So to me, this means that you knew about it. So this is more of a sense of you lying to yourself, maybe, in some cases. Now, if there is a Cancer individual, that person might be someone who, I was thinking too, even the Cancer could be the betrayer, because the King of Pentacles might have been somebody from your past. Maybe it was the father of your child, for some women that, have been in different relationships. And we do have Mercury retrograde in that first week of the month. So, blasts from the past can come in, people who you were dealing with, and then that creates things. It's funny because it could even be like an air sign individual. I know it's convenient for me to say all these different signs, but I am getting as the cross position, the Lover's card, and sometimes this represents Gemini. Okay, I don't know how many Scorpio people have had relationships with Geminis, but that Three of Swords could indicate an air sign. So you're either a Gemini or a Libra or an Aquarius individual, and I feel like with the High Priestess, to me, it's telling you, it's not necessarily advice. I think it's saying you have already maybe had these inklings, and you chose not to listen to those little nudges. You chose to kind of turn a blind eye for whatever reason. And usually with a sign like Scorpio, the reasons are, I would say the first reason is kind of like a blind stubbornness on the emotional level, because you're a fixed water sign. So you're already somebody who is adverse to change, but you're also somebody who, like, if you really feel this sense of love, you know, it's pretty hard to get you from that position. Even if somebody betrays you, it's very hard for you to let go of that. And so it's like deeply entrenched. And so that is problematic, because if something is really in your face, and you refuse to see it, that only prolongs the agony. So, it's interesting that the Three of Swords also can mean like something very quick and abrupt, and like cutting ties with maybe somebody very quickly. Like maybe you've been hanging on to something because you're afraid of change, and that has prolonged the situation much longer than it should be. Because actually this card also refers to choice, and it's in the challenge position. So it could be that you're having a hard time making that decision, that change, and it's keeping you trapped in a vicious circle, like a negative cycle. And this could also apply to any kind of career situation, because you may feel like you're afraid of the unknown. And it may feel like you don't know which way to turn. And so it's almost better to be in a situation of betrayal and, negative emotions than to actually make a clean break and to move on with your life. Now, as the advice, it's very interesting because the Ten of Pentacles is about family money, family business. Now, maybe some of you have family who have a business and you can temporarily work there. I mean, that's possible. But it can also mean that you are financially abundant already. Maybe you are over cautious when it comes to money, and you have no reason to be, because you're very, very financially stable. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of a lot of financial abundance. So whether you already have had it or it's on its way, it could be an inheritance. Sometimes that's referenced here. It just is something that is showing you that you have this, backing, or like you don't have to fear it. Like if you're trying to leave a job because you just don't know, you don't trust the people there maybe, and yet you're afraid of losing the consistent income. It's saying that you will have, a lot of resources. It could mean that your family will help you out in some way financially. So if you have children and you're afraid of having to raise them alone, it could be something like that. But it could mean that that Pentacles person is the person who is someone to build a family with. So maybe you were estranged from the the father of your child, and maybe that was your doing, and maybe you should be back with them. You know, maybe they were good people and you just, you know, did not see that at the time because you got caught up in something else that was an affair or something like that. I don't know. I'm just giving examples of that. You can apply it to your own life, but the Ten of Pentacles could indicate that that person, maybe they were very financially secure and stable, but maybe they weren't that exciting, and so you kind of underestimated how important they would be in your life, and you kind of strayed, and that you know, had disastrous consequences. I don't know. But it is a card of abundance. It is a card, and then you get another good card that's about stability, and this is the Happy Home card, the Four of Wands. So it sounds like, you know, maybe some of you will either reunite with a partner or get back with somebody who was a better fit for you and who you can make a life with. The number 4 is about stability. And it's about really having that home life, that comfortable home, that, you know, wonderful foundation, you know, something to come home to, that nest. But there's, you know, it's funny because it's a wands, so it's that fiery energy that represents passion, joy, and creativity. So it's not just like, okay, we're gonna do this thing and it's going to just be plodding along. No, I mean, it's going to bring you a sense of not only stability, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be something that you enjoy doing together. So, and it can also point to marriage. So anyway, that's very interesting. Now, you know, it's a 2-week time span. I don't think all these things necessarily happen, but hopefully the themes, or at least some of the themes, resonate. I will, and for, by the way, for any kind of job situation, you may be working from home. Some of you may be working for a family business, or you will get help from your family, maybe a business loan from your family to do this. But the Four of Wands can indicate, you know, maybe you're going to be telecommuting and you'll have your own business, because the Wands tend to indicate entrepreneurship in the form of, you know, creativity, which they also represent. Now you got Hilarion, Divine Healing. It says, honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. And it's interesting because this is kind of, I said, like, this is kind of like your nest. This is a place where you can go to recharge your batteries. And in order to have a happy home, you have to, you know, share it with somebody who is compatible. And that's how you, and the way that you do that is by having a spouse, a partner who is on the same page as you, who wants the same things as you, not a carbon copy of you, but who has similar aspirations. And that's what makes life enjoyable, when you have that sense that you're going through things together and that you really, you know, share the same philosophy of, you know, what life should be like. So I hope you enjoyed this, Scorpio. And I wish you a great first half of January. Take care. Bye.